I want to talk a little bit about stupid proofing experiments. A lot of what I do in lab on a day-to-day basis consists of moving clear liquids from one tube to another tube. Those liquids can be anything from DNA to enzymes to DNTPs to buffers to who knows what, but they all look almost exactly the same. I'm also often trying to do multiple things at once. Maybe I'm starting this experiment while another experiment incubates, and then this one is happening over here, and I have to remember that later I have to put my digests in, and there's often a lot of stuff happening. And both of those things together, I think, leads to mistakes. Stupid mistakes. And I have made just about every mistake possible with pipetting clear liquids into clear liquids that I possibly could have at this point. I'm sure I will find new ones, but I have forgotten to pipette liquids. I have pipetted liquids twice. I have pipetted the wrong liquid into the wrong liquid. It all happens, and I do my best to stupid-proof against those moments. So here are some ways I stupid-proof against the stupid. Number one is that I write everything down and print it out before I do it. This forces me to think through exactly what I'm going to do. I run the experiment in my head first while I'm sort of copying a protocol over and typing in the new sample names and all that kind of stuff. That protocol happens in my head. The experiment happens in my head once before it ever happens at the bench. Then once I get to the bench, I think of all of the different tubes that I'm going to need and I label them first. Clearly, before anything else happens. There is never a liquid going into an unlabeled tube. That is a route to disaster. You think, oh, I'll remember what's in this. No, you won't. You won't, past Alex. You will not remember what's in that tube. Another thing I do to stupid proof is that as I add everything into my tubes, I cross it off on my list, or I highlight it. I'm a big fan of highlighting so I can still see the value underneath it very clearly, but I cross it off as I do it, and I do it in order. This way I know exactly what I have done. It's so easy to be in the middle of doing this and suddenly somebody comes over and asks you a question and you answer the question and then you look back at your tubes and you go, where was I? As another round of protection, once I have used something, I will physically move it to a new location so that I know that if I have all of my working stuff on the left and then I move it over to the right, anything that is on the right has already been used and the left still needs to go in. It's a double check on this system. I also always number everything and go in a numbered order. And this sometimes seems completely superfluous. If I have 24 samples, but all 24 of those things need 500 microliters of something pipetted into them, why does it matter what order I do them in? It shouldn't. It really shouldn't, but doing them in order means that I can count along in my head so that I know I just added 8, now I'll add 9. Or I just added 92, now I'll add 93. As I'm saying these out loud, some of them sound a little silly while others sound a little obvious, but they're backups and checks for me to make sure that I'm always doing the right thing at the right time, because the worst thing is to get through 96 tubes and then go, wait, did I add enzyme to all of them? Did I? I don't know. I could have, I might not have, and then have to go back and redo all 96 tubes. It's just heartbreaking. So I have found little ways to try and stupid-proof my day-to-day experiments. But then, sometimes, I'll come up with a new way of being stupid and making a mistake, and then I'll add another check to go over that one to make sure I don't make that same mistake again. It helps a lot. Clearly, these specific examples only work for one type of experiment, but I have these little checks in place for almost everything that I do in the lab. But the one that is common to almost every experiment is to write it down. I think that this is especially important for protocols I've done hundreds of times, because when you do a protocol for the first time, you're so nervous about getting it wrong that you're carefully reading every step and you're going through da-da-da-da-da. But once you've done something 100 times, you're like, oh yeah, this is the step where I add this thing, and then I add this thing, and then I add oh no, that was the wrong step. Meh. It's the experiments where you know what you're doing that you often zone out a little bit and you mess up. So I physically force myself with that highlighter to not do that. So whatever field you are in, let me know in the comments below what little things you do to keep yourself in check, to make sure you're doing the right thing, and to not have to redo something because of a stupid mistake. Go forth and do stupid-proofed science. Ooh. Whoa. Whoa. Calm yourself.